foolish mortals.
Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
This is the DBC Pod with Phil Schoen and Jason Dodge. Hi, friends. Welcome to this week's Pod, the show for the week of July 14th, 2025. And this is what's going on in our Disney World, our last show before I go to Disney World.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. It's kind of like action-packed. So what we're going to do is we've got our Planet Filler Skipper game. We're going to do Hollywood Studios. Next week, we will not be having a show. Phil will be away on business. I will be away on vacation. And we're going to do Magic Kingdom as a special, like, solo type episode. That's just going to be us talking about Magic Kingdom, and that's it. So that might be an hour episode. I don't know the size of Magic Kingdom, but we'll see how long it takes. But it'll be just a game episode for next week.
So if we're missing any giant news that breaks over the next week, we didn't leave it out on purpose.
Yes, exactly. It's just going to be a game episode.
Yep.
Phil's going to talk about the first look at Disney Starlight. No spoilers for me. There is a really cool video that Phil found about Destination D23 Predictions. I absolutely hated everything in that video. Now, hate is a bad word, Phil. I tell my kids that don't use the word hate. I disagreed strongly with a lot of the takes that were in that video. Hate is a bad word, so I apologize for that. As a reminder, go to Discord. If you agree or disagree with any of our opinions, hop on there. We want to welcome some new YouTube subscribers, All Pro Internet and JD Top Gun 71. Thank you for joining and hitting the subscribe button, as everybody that's watching this should be doing. So thank you very much. All right, so we have a very long show, Phil. Before we get into it, I was going to put in a section of like my trip report update type of thing, but all I've got left is me panicking that I'm forgetting something. One,
well, sure.
I laminated 80 or something achievement cards, like you saw them last week, but now they're actually laminated right now. This is either going to be an amazing experience or a terrible one, Phil. I don't think there's going to be like any in between whatsoever. But tomorrow's my Lightning Lane day. It's 7 days before we check in. I'm going to be traveling for work in the morning, and I'm going to be the pulling over on the side of Route 95 to try to get my Lightning Lanes. But to save money, we're getting 2 days. We're just going to do an Animal Kingdom day and an Epcot day, and because we're hopping, we're going to go everywhere else. But like I think Epcot's pretty easy to get. And Animal Kingdom's pretty easy to get. I think we're doing 7+3 and 7+6. So
you'll be fine. Yeah.
We're only doing 2 Lightning Lanes. We're doing Guardians of the Galaxy for further on in our vacation, and Flight of Passage further on in our vacation as well. Nothing else. I was thinking about doing like 2 other days for multi-pass, but then I'm like, I'm locking myself in for the park for that day. That's the antithesis of what this vacation is, and I think we're just going to play it by ear. So like the night before, kind of like the old Genie Plus, we're going to decide if we want it for the next day and book it and just buy it, depending on how we're vibing. So that's the only update I have for my trip coming up. We're like slowly just buying like random things as we approach. Like, oh, we forgot about this. We got new batteries, new cords, and like, oh, my son needs a new hat. And hopefully everything arrives on time. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the news. Phil, take it away with Disney Starlight updates.
Yeah, so the latest episode of We Call It Imagineering came out that was teased about this, and it was focusing on Disney Live Entertainment. So they talked about the new daytime parade that came to Hong Kong Disneyland. They talked through the new nighttime show that's at Disneyland Paris, which I'm obviously interested in because we'll be seeing that next year. Mm-hmm. But I think what most people were, and of course they put it into the last section, is that they gave us our first look at Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away, which is the new nighttime parade that is coming to the Magic Kingdom in about 6 days. I think it is. It's on the 20th.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So now, Jason, you said you didn't watch it, right? So because you're trying to keep this more or less a secret.
Yeah, I put it on, right? So I started watching. I watched like the first minute of it, and I paused. I'm like, I should be watching this with the rest of my family. I'm like, no, I should not be watching this at all, just so we could all be surprised. I mean, I've seen like little snippets of it, like, because you can't avoid it on social media. But I think what we'll do is probably watch it after the vacation, just after we see it. We kind of want to see like kind of behind.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Like that. Yeah.
So overall, I mean, they showed quite a bit of like little quick snippets of the parade. So you don't see the whole thing, but you did get to see like one of the main floats in front of the castle and stuff like that. They talked more about like the development of it. And one thing that jumped out to me is they said for the music of it, they wanted to combine the electronic sound from the Main Street Main Street Electrical Parade with the more orchestral style of Spectral Magic. So it's supposed to be sort of like a fusion of those two, which I think is neat. And then they talked about different like new animation that was made that's going to be on one of the floats. Again, trying not to give away too much for Jason, but they have some nods to the past parades and past fireworks shows and stuff like that. So it seems like they're trying to tie into the history and nostalgia of that, but making it obviously much more modern with the technology and stuff like that. So I'm like pretty psyched for it, and I'm very glad that it'll be out before your trip, that you're going to get to see it. I'm definitely like, I know when I go down down and back with my daughter, I might try to see both showings of it that night or whatever. I'm pretty pumped for it. So I'm hoping the final product delivers.
So like, again, this vacation upcoming, we have like no planning other than like, we bought Up Close with Rhinos and like all of our dining reservations that I'm totally okay with like changing around last minute type of thing. And I'm like, okay, how do we go through like a normal Disney vacation? My daughter and I went down for like a little down and back. We got to taste 3 different parks. I was back down in November with the wife. We did everything. I was down there with you back in May and did just Hollywood Studios all day. And I'm like, okay, you're still kind of stuck in the normal progression of how do you do the parks. And I'm like, I got to constantly remind myself, there is a parade that's sandwiching a fireworks show. Like, I don't know how to do Magic Kingdom now. And it's just like, I'm not even thinking about like staying in late to go, what fireworks show do we want? Do I go to like, go see Fantasmic and then rush to the Magic Kingdom to see like the 11 o'clock, or was it 10 o'clock showing of the parade?
It should be 9 and 11, and then Happily Ever After at 10.
Is it 10? Okay, so everything's shifted off of my brain. So that's another thing. Like, I'm like, I knew that before, and I just flubbed that time. So I'm like, I got to go because I don't have my normal spreadsheet of like times for all the parks and all this other stuff. I'm like, I'm trying to keep this low key. And I can't wait till we do your trip prep, because you just have too much power in the vacation that's coming up. That's a November one, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Well, yeah, but like again, like I feel like I'm so unprepared for this trip, but like I'm obviously laminated 80 cards and I've got like all this stuff. I'm like, I'm ready, but it's like I'm doing this so differently.
I was going to say you're prepped, but it's different prep than before.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So I'm like, what am I? I'm like panicking that I'm forgetting something, but I'm like, I have to let go. I have to find the vacation. Like I'm forcing myself not to be like a crazy person. So I can't wait for Starlight either. I know I want to see it at least 3 or 4 times. I don't know if I can get the whole family to see it like, fireworks parade, all just sitting there. And it depends on the crowds, right? Like if it was anything like we was 2 weeks ago, where you could do cartwheels on the back end of Main Street and like not hit anybody, then absolutely. Because I mean, the crowds have been low for the last week. So I'm getting kind of excited too.
Great. Following this, one thing I noticed was there seemed to be, not to say that there were obviously some people nitpicking thing and stuff like that, but it seemed to be a generally positive reaction to what we saw from Starlight. And I noticed this one tweet that was out there. It was actually for Drew the Disney Dude, tweeted out, first look at the fully illuminated Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away finale float, and he's got the clip of it in front of the castle and stuff like that. And then somebody commented, goes, they've nailed Test Track 3.0 and Geo 82. Beacon Barrel looks great because we got to see a little clip of that in another little movie that came out.
Except for the one guy on the forum. Nuts about it, but that's fine.
But for that looks great. And he said it looks like they've crushed it with this parade. And he calls it Walt Disney World Redemption Tour is fully on. And it kind of got me thinking, like, there seems to be some positivity coming around with things. Obviously, there's negativity with the rivers going away and stuff like that. But is Disney, with all the new stuff, going to be able to reframe some of that narrative after some of the negativity? Or is it not really that the broader community of Disney fans really isn't as negative as maybe we sense it from being in a bit of an echo chamber?
I was thinking about this because of the video that we're going to be talking about with Destination D23. And she had a line where she said, like, oh, Disney has to make up from the sorrow of losing the Muppets. And I just stated out loud, says, the broader community does not care about the Muppets, right? They're not hurt. They're not devastated. And it's the vocal thousands of people out of the tens of millions of people that attend these parks every single year that are making the big stick. So when you see positivity from the fan community, that is huge. But I think generally everybody's excited about almost all the stuff that Disney does.
That's coming.
Like, you know, I mean, you got Len Testa on his podcast making fun of Communicore Hall and how it looks like what is it, the college, like, you know, welcome
I think
center
Jim
or
called it
something like
an underfunded community college.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, like, I always laugh about that. Yes, it's utilitarian space, right? It's not high function, low theming, and yes, they could have done so much better with it. It's kind of disappointing that they just didn't go all out with it. But I'm like, it's a tiny space of the overall scope of Epcot. Like,
Right.
many people aren't really caring about this at this point. So, like, fans really get deep into it, and that's fine. That's why we're fans, right?
Right.
Like, they're all valid opinions. Don't get me wrong, but it is kind of silly how sometimes the negativity piles up because everybody thinks that WDI or Disney itself are like infallible. They have this magic power that everything that they touch is going to be amazing. Yet they have a very long history of making things that are not amazing, that tank also, right? Just like anybody else, everybody's fallible, right? But we tend to just cherish and remember the highs, but completely forget about the lows over the decades and decades of like bad movies or bad things in the parks or cringe things, or like it just comes in cycles. And I have complete faith in WDI that are going to make beautiful things, because a lot of people also, Phil, don't pay attention to what's going on overseas and some of the lovely stuff that they've done in Tokyo, the stuff that they're doing in Paris, and they tend to forget that the Disney company is doing other things than just, like, you know, a room in Communicore Hall type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So the next thing I was going to talk about is that Disney just today shared a first look at Walt Disney: A Magical Life. And this is the new show that's going in at Disneyland that features an animatronic of Walt Disney. This obviously has been a big topic because there's been some debate of like, should they be doing this? Should they not be doing it? But obviously they are. And it's, you know, celebrating the 70th year of Disneyland, the park he created. And Drew put out, like, I think a really interesting video today where he talks about how it's kind of like a little bit full circle, that he was talking about the park and then it was his park, and now he's, as an animatronic figure, is in the park talking to us. And like, it's kind of a neat concept when you think about it that way. They shared a lot of only about 10-second clip of the Walt animatronic moving and talking and stuff like that. But enough to give you an idea of what it's going to look like and that sort of thing. And obviously there's a lot of critics out there. I guess there's a lot of expert sculptors and stuff like that in the fan community that could do better. But there's a lot of thought, like, does it look enough like Walt? Can you make it, you know, when people in their head, when they think of Walt, it's probably almost a little bit of a caricature of him, and this looks more probably realistic. But they also talked a lot about the technical side of it. They said in Imagineering, they have this term they call moonshots in animatronics, where it's like things that haven't been done yet, but it's a new advancement in it. And they said they feel like for this one, they've done more moonshots in this one animatronic than they've ever done before in one. And they had a whole list of things, but things they included was like, Walt was very expressive with his eyebrows. So they added a lot more motors and stuff like that to the eyebrows so you can get that. And he has what they call a glint in his eye, and they actually had a scientific term for like people who have a glint in their eye, is actually something with their cornea or something like that. But they developed something so that this figure has the glint in his eye. And they developed new movement for the arms and hands because they knew Walt was always expressive with his hands and stuff. And I have to say that part in the video, those hand movements and arm movements are really fluid and really, like, you can kind of sense how it's going along with what he's talking about and stuff like that. So
I kind of skipped through the video, right? Like, you know, I watched the whole preamble. Again, I was on a job site, so it was on my phone. The whole preamble was quite lovely. And then it kind of just showed the Walt figure. And I don't know if it was my internet or me not paying full attention to it, but like the arms didn't seem as smooth as I was expecting. It seemed a little jerky. So I kind of quickly shut it off because I don't want to watch it from like a quick clip. I want to be able to like watch the whole thing, because maybe I was like, oh, that looked a little weird. But then my attention immediately went to something else for work. So I wasn't able to kind of really watch it. You know what? I won't go back and watch it until it's, you know, somebody has their full recording of it so I can check it out. But I thought the animatronic looked fantastic from like a detail-oriented point of view. I can't wait to see it. I think it's kind of exciting. I'm a sucker for like old Walt, like nostalgia and, you know, his speeches and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be cool. I think it's also one of those things when you're in there and you're seeing it, it's going to look fine. But when you're like looking in with like a magnifying glass, you're going to find things that like, oh, that doesn't look like this picture of Walt or whatever.
Of course.
But I think the movement was really he starts off leaning against his desk and he kind of stands up and takes a step and stuff. And I don't know, it looked cool. And there's a lot in the pre-show area, a lot of artifacts that were on loan from the museum and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a really cool exhibit. I guess they're using a virtual queue for when it first opens and stuff like that, because they know it's going to be so popular. But we'll see. Obviously, you know, our friend Matt was just at Disneyland. He missed this, but I'm sure we'll have some people that'll be out in Disneyland and give us their thoughts and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So, yep. So that's exciting. And then the last news topic I had was that Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights dates have been revealed. They also went through the details about the offerings, which are pretty much the exact same as what was there last year, other than for Jollywood, you can get into the park a half hour earlier than the previous year. The thing that kind of threw me and why I was talking about it a lot on the boards was it's starting November 7th is the first Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and November 8th is the first Jollywood Night, which those are days that I will be down there with my daughter's orchestra. Well, my daughter's school orchestra is doing a trip down there, and the rest of us are going to go down at the same time to see her perform, and then just do Disney while we're down there. So then my brain's going crazy. It was like, oh, should we go see one of these? Because we've never done either of the Christmas parties. If we do, that means we're skipping out on this day because we're trying to not, you know, go crazy with the trip. And I had like spreadsheets with different options and stuff like that. And then I like talked to my wife and she's like, I don't think we should do either. Like, let's just do the parks. Like, we'll plan around, like, obviously not being in the parks when the party's going on or whatever.
Right.
But I think it'll just be easier. And then I was also like, you know what? My daughter's going to be with her orchestra trip. It'd probably kind of rude of us to be like, oh yeah, we're going to do the Christmas party while you're like not doing it and stuff like that. So in the end, after all that like spreadsheeting and stuff like that and figuring out extra costs and money and stuff like that, we decided to not do either of them.
I would. What did I say? It's like you were asking if you wanted to do Jollywood Nights first, and I was like, just ask Matt. He'll say do it because he's a big fan of the show. No, I'm looking forward to the planning for your November trip. I think it's going to be interesting because you have a couple of details. I don't know if you want to talk about those now because we could talk about that. Might derail the whole show.
Yeah, I think that'll derail it a little bit, but there might be a new wrinkle of something we don't normally do in our trip with this one. So we'll get into that, I think, at a later date.
It's too much power in your hands.
We each have trips coming up before we even get to this one.
Yeah, we'll talk about this later.
So that's it for the news. So if you want to get into the construction updates.
Yeah. I think we'll talk about your trip planning like in the fall, like after we like digest everything that's coming up, because I've got like a 9-night. That's going to be like a 4-parter, I think, with all the stuff we're going to do. Yeah. So yes, for construction updates, there's not much going on as far as like big ticket points, but everything is going on at this point, right? So if I wanted to, I could put like a daily update of just like go look at BioReconstruct's Twitter feed, go like look at somebody taking pictures, right? There's always something changing. So what I'm going to do from here on out for Rivers of America and Monsters Inc., for the most part, every single week we're going to have a generic construction update of some of the things that we've noticed have changed, right? So for example, Rivers of America, more walls are going up. There's like scrims going up like in the Haunted Mansion like queue. So they're not hard walls, it's like fabric that they're kind of putting over, so you don't have the view at all. It's going to be very claustrophobic in that line. I don't know if that adds to like a little bit of the mystique of a Haunted Mansion because you get claustrophobic if you go inside. I don't know, but like that door that was just standing out in the middle of nowhere now has doors all the way around it. And they're actually draining the river a little bit. I think it's down like a foot at this point. The riverboat is docked with all the rafts on the side. There's a section of the railroad that is been taken out. Yeah, the tracks have been removed. Yeah, what do you think? What are your thoughts on why they did that? Do you think that's just for construction, or are they doing something with the track, or rerouting it, or? Is it, somebody said I didn't really pay attention to exactly where it was. I just saw that they removed it. Is that part of like a bridge or something that they might? So it's part of the like north of the Frontierland train station, and there is some thoughts that because they don't need to get the riverboat in and out anymore, and that waterways, I think according to the site plan, is going to be gone, that they won't need a bridge anymore. So it might be that they're taking down the bridge and it's just going to be, you know, regular land or whatever, and then they'll put the track back. So I mean, that's as good as a reason as any. I don't think we're ever going to figure out why they did that. So somebody will probably take a picture of what's underneath it in years to come. So we'll see. But yeah, railroad track is removed. I mean, just pay attention to your favorite news site or bloggers. There's always going to be pictures of the river going down. There's pictures of people taking things down on Tom Sawyer Island. Everything's getting labeled to be removed and everything else like that. So work is happening fast. I think they're just going to get it done. I think we'll have the river. I think the river will be be completely drained by the time I go. That I'll be there next week.
Yeah.
For the I'm
Seems like
willing to bet. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see it, so I don't know where people are taking these pictures from. Maybe like from Tiana's or something, or wherever. I don't know. So anyway, stay tuned to that. In Animal Kingdom, again, there's 4 new permits that were raised. I think they're like demoing 2 kiosks. They have the permit ready to get rid of the Boneyard demo, and there's a permit for the Triceratops spin area. So I guess they're going to start building something or getting ready to prep that area for construction. So we'll see on that. Epcot, there's nothing. And in Hollywood Studios, I think the most interesting, they're starting to cut up the parking lot where the door coaster building is going to go.
Yep.
So we've got major construction happening in Animal Kingdom. We have major construction happening at Magic Kingdom. We have major construction about to start at Hollywood Studios. And the only thing that's not seeing major construction is Epcot, where they're doing some couple refurbs. And we just said this at Discord. Everybody makes fun of Disney about working very slowly because of like COVID and CEO changes, and like Tron took forever to open and all this other stuff. Disney is moving and shaking. I personally don't remember a time, at least in my fandom of like a decade now at this point, where Disney was doing so many things at the same time. It's absolutely ridiculous what they're doing. So I think everybody should kind of put their let's make fun of Disney's construction speed and put on start buckle up, because things are about to happen.
Yep. The only thing I'll mention is Brian Henson did comment that he knows for when they took down all the animatronics from Muppet Vision, he knows they've all been like preserved and kept, and that they could be reused in the future if they wanted to like kind of bring it back. So whether they'll be used or not, we don't know, but he did make the comment that they have been preserving all the animatronics from Muppet Vision.
That doesn't surprise. I mean, I expected them to do something like that. All right, so let's go to the video you found, Phil, and you wanted to talk about. So why don't you set it up?
Yeah, so I just came across this video. It's by a channel on YouTube called Probably at Disney. She seems to do a lot of sort of summarizing news that's going out there and adding some video clips to it and kind of giving her thoughts and predictions about what things could mean. So kind of probably a little bit about sort of what we do or Drew does or something, just a different take on it. She seemed to have a lot of theories about what she's hearing and rumors. Some of them seem to be similar to things we've heard from Len, Testa, and stuff like that. But she was putting together with all like sort of like, here's what we're hearing. And as Destination D23 is coming up about 6 weeks or so, these are things that she's predicting will be announced or will not be announced at Destination D23. She did go through Disneyland and Disney Cruise Line as well, but I'm just going to list out the ones for Walt Disney World. One thing to keep in mind, usually Destination D23 is sort of the smaller event and not many things get announced at it. Disney has been like hyping this one up a bit. It's doubling the size. It's the biggest of these events ever. So there is some thought that maybe we could get a little bit more than we've gotten in typically from a Destination D23. So the first thing she did say when she was going over Disneyland, though, is that she thinks they might, if there's positive reaction to the Walt animatronic, that they could announce that it's going to be coming to Walt Disney World. I don't know. Do you think they'll do that?
No. Because, I mean, yes, I think they built that to be. It almost looks like a permanent installation over there because of the way they said that the stage rotates.
Yeah.
I don't. There's no space at Disney World for that type of thing. I think that's. I would love for her to be right, because that would be amazing. But like, I don't think that's. I mean, they're putting Walt in Walt's Park.
Yeah, basically. I think it makes so much more sense for it to be there. I know there's some people saying like, oh, they could do it with the Hall of Presences, but that theater is so much bigger. You couldn't just have like one human-sized animatronic on there; it wouldn't work and stuff like that. So, so I don't think it'll happen. If it does, it's going to be way down the line. Mm-hmm. For Epcot, she predicts that they will announce a redo update of Journey into Imagination with Figment that will be announced this year. What do you think?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I think they will announce it eventually. I don't think they're going to use D23 for like major ride. They're saving that for next year if they're going to do anything for that. I don't think they do any ride announcements. I don't think Destination D23 is for something like that. Now, if there was like another Figment related project, absolutely. Like different meet and greets, popcorn buckets, movies, cartoons, some kind of collaboration with another property type of thing, sure. But a new ride redo, I don't think gets announced at D23. I mean, I'm not 100% on that, but I'm like, I'm about 70-80% sure that's going to happen.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
do.
think?
I mean, the one thing I think is that this audience being from Walt Disney World focus group, it would go over really well with the crowd if they announced they were doing it. So I think if of the types of things like these, they could announce a ride redo.
Yep.
Figment would probably make the most sense of any of them to be announced if they're going to announce anything like that. So I'm a little like probably 50-50 on that one. I think it could get announced. So, and it seems like they want to keep cycling. They're doing obviously Test Track, then they're doing Buzz, and I think there could be something like the next sort of refurb update to things, but we'll see.
Sure.
For Animal Kingdom, her prediction is that Tropical Americas will be the main focus of the event overall. Obviously, it's the thing that's the furthest along with being done, and that they know the most details about. Also, a lot of news about it is leaking out, which if anybody's following over on one of the threads on WDW Magic, Len Testa has pretty much spoiled the entire ride because I think he got the plans for it, and he can't share the plans because they have watermarks on them and stuff like that. He doesn't want to get anyone in trouble, but he's kind of answered a lot of questions, and we know a lot of the show scenes and stuff like that from the Encanto ride. So given that a lot of that's getting out there, she thinks that they will share a lot, new concept art, a model of the ride vehicle, and videos showing effects and show scenes from it.
I think this is a dead-on banger for D20. That's what D20 Destination D23 is all about, right? It's kind of confirming and firming up new updates that are coming, especially for Walt Disney World. I think Len almost never shares anything that he's not supposed to share. Like he hints at things that he knows, but he never goes into detail on things that he's not allowed to do. So I don't think he has plans for the ride. I think he basically has a slide deck or parts of a slide deck that are going to go at Destination D23. So I think that's why you could talk about it, because it's all going to be shown in like a month,
a couple weeks or yeah.
Maybe he's drumming up interest because he got you could talk about it, but you can't share it type of thing.
Yep.
Because otherwise Len would never be like this upfront
giving this much detail. Yeah. He's like flat out, like people are asking him questions and he's flat out answering.
It's a Q&A session going on there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
For the Indy ride, she thinks they'll share more about the story, which I think we know that's kind of come out at that Mayan presentation already. But she was saying the focus will be on how this is not the same ride that's at Disneyland, to make it clear that this is its own thing. And perhaps we'll preview an animatronic or something like that that's going to be included in the ride.
I mean, I think they're just going to replicate whatever that Mayan what was it, the talk or TED Talk or whatever conference is the word I was looking for, but I think it's just gonna dress it up for like the broader audience, right? So it's, instead of being very very like more of like a learning like school type environment. What I can't speak today, Phil. It's going to be less like a lecture and more of like a fun like kind of thing. So I think they're going to dress it up for public consumption on that. But it's going to be the same kind of like beats, I think.
Yep. And then she said they'll give some confirmation and details for the play area / splash pad. They'll give some details on the replacement for Restaurantosaurus. So basically the whole area, they'll give like a lot more details and color around that area. So
I mean, I think confirmation and details for the play area, splash pad area. I think that's putting too much emphasis on what they would actually do. I think they're sharing more art for the whole area. You're going to see a screen that shows like a play area, and they're going to say, "Hey, and here's a play area," and then they're going to go to like another thing. Like I don't think they're going to have any emphasis on it. You're just going to see some pictures, concept art with it. I don't think it's anything major.
Yep.
And then like the Restaurantosaurus, I think we might get a name of a restaurant or something else like that, but I don't think there's going to be, again, any kind of major news. I think it's just going to be like more. Yeah,
they'll just mention it and kind of say where the food is kind of referencing and stuff like that, if it's more from the Indy or the Encanto side or whatever. And then also in Animal Kingdom, we know that Zootopia Better Together is going to be opening before the end of the year, or we think so. It's at winter 2025 means. And she thinks we'll get an announcement for the date for it to open. She thinks it'll coincide with the Zootopia 2 coming out, which is November 26th, and that will get like a song clip and synopsis of the show and stuff like that.
I'd be extremely surprised if we get an opening date. Like Disney doesn't give opening dates for these things that are like where construction just started. Like there's zero chance that they give an opening date. They might say coming November or coming December or something, but like there will not be like a date or a week. They might not even give the month at this point either. But like if they're going to give details of opening time frames, they will give a month. I think.
I agree with that, or a month, or at least clarify what winter 2020 like that means. Like this means before the end of the year, like that type of thing, or something like that.
You might get a song clip. You might get like a little montage type of thing, but like I don't think you'll have more than like a 10-second music clip. I don't think.
Yep. Then moving to Hollywood Studios, she thinks we'll get a little bit more details around the discussion of the Mandalorian and Grogu overlay from Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, since that will be coming out before the next D23 event and next May. But thinks that, people are asking, like, will we get information about an expansion to Galaxy's Edge or something like that? She says we won't get anything like that, which I think is pretty clear. Then for Monstropolis.
Well, let's stay on this one here. I don't know where expansion for Galaxy's Edge comes from. Like they're not expanding Galaxy's Edge for a very long time.
Right.
They got major construction elsewhere in the park before it ever comes to that. I don't think they do anything about Mandalorian Grogu because I don't think they want to step over the marketing for the movie at all. So I don't think they'll show really any details other than maybe reminding people that it's coming and like, but nothing more that's like just a regurgitation of like their previous announcement. I don't think they might be like, here's all the stuff that we're doing in the next couple of years at Hollywood Studios. It might be like a bullet point or something like that. But no, I don't think they're going to even announce this stuff. Cause the movie's coming out next year or the year after?
No, 2026, 26,
okay.
Like May 22nd or something.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that. The only reason I could see it is because they do like to roll out somebody dressed up as Mando on stage. Like it'd be an easy character to bring out or something like that. But I don't know.
I mean, I'm 50-50 on that, I guess. You can change my mind on that one.
Then she said Monstropolis will get confirmation of what the new theater show will be. So what's replacing Muppet Vision. And then a lot of attention on the door coaster and really try to psych up the crowd for that. And this was the area where she was getting into how she feels like they need to quote unquote thread the needle because they know people are still not happy about Muppets closing. So instead they're going to focus on the part they are excited about, the door coaster, and then also lean heavily into the Muppets takeover of Rock and Roller Coaster, getting into information on the pre-show and the song playlist and all sorts of stuff related to that. Cause they think making people happy about the Muppets will make the crowd happy. Cause she's afraid they don't want to risk anything where the crowd would boo them and stuff like that. So
they're going to talk about it. I think we might get some more concept art of what the inside of the door coaster is going to look at, type of thing. I don't know if they'll ever do something like, when they do like the 3D modeling of like the ride through or something. I don't know if they'll show like a clip of something like that. I could see that happening. I don't think anything about the new theater show is going to happen. However, I think that might be a wild card only because the concept art changed and they changed like the name of the theater. Yeah. So maybe like they have some better idea of what they're going to put in there. So it might be like a teaser of like a one sentence of what the show's about. Like Mike and Sully are going to do this and that's it. Right. But no details of what kind of show, how it's going to look, whatever. Cause I don't think they know yet exactly how it's going to come together, or the details are so fluid that they're not going to put anything on paper. But as far as threading the needle, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to get cute or anything else like that. I think they're going to, everybody's excited about the door coaster. So I think they can easily kind of talk about that. They could talk about how it's, this certain size, it's almost as big or bigger than this or whatever. They'll kind of give all those kind of fun details. I don't think there's anything about Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster other than, a reminder of what they're doing and kind of the vibe of it. But I don't think we're going to get any song selections or anything else like that at this point.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. She seemed to think they were going to get, lots of details on the pre-show and the full song list and stuff like that. Like I could maybe see if they have one song they know they're going to do, say, including this song or something like that. But I don't think they're going to give the full information. I think we're still a little far out from that.
Yep.
And this area is probably the big thing that she has. So he says Animation Courtyard. There are a number of rumors about what's going to happen with Animation Courtyard. And her thing is that she thinks they will announce at Destination D23 what's going to happen with Animation Courtyard.
There's a zero chance this happens.
I would be surprised, yes.
I mean, first of all, there are no rumors about what's going on here because all the rumors are just echo chamber people like wish casting or armchair imagineering this area, right? There is zero rumors that have come out. Now, even Len said that he's heard people talk about a couple different things that doesn't sound too appealing, whatever. Sometimes I don't trust Len with some of his things because he's just hearing from the grapevine type of things, right? So you don't know where those are coming from. Not that I don't trust Len. Obviously not. I do trust Len in this stuff. But sometimes he just kind of passes on what he hears from different people. So No, I think Animation Courtyard's not settled yet. I think I'm still holding to my theory that it's going to be Frozen, Incredibles, or Zootopia based on the performance of each property as the new movies are coming out over the next couple of years. They are definitely not going to overshadow Monstropolis that's opening with an announcement of Animation Courtyard. There's like zero chance because they're not going to announce that major project until Monstropolis is like basically open and accepted to the public, and then they're going to start talking about that space. And we probably won't know what's going there, if anything's going there in the next couple of years, until probably when's two D23s from now? That's what, 3 years from now?
Yeah, 2028.
That's where I would see like an Animation Courtyard.
Yeah,
when we get the announcements of like phase 2 of the
exactly,
of Disney, right?
I think we're not. They've given us so much about what's going to happen in the first 5 years. I don't think now a year later they're going to be like, and here's the next 5 years. Like we're ways away from that. So that would surprise me.
And her whole guess about like it's going to be animation focused because she tied a bunch of different people talking about like Disney doesn't talk about these things from like all these different sources. So to me, that was kind of I mean, to me, I don't see how it could be what she was talking about with like it's going to be leaning into animation and they're just going to redo like the launch bay building.
Yeah, she didn't really have ideas of like what that meant by being animation. Is it going to like just different animated properties are going to have rides and stuff like that? She didn't really get into it, but just that it would lean into animation versus other things. But I don't know. Then for Magic Kingdom, she thinks they'll be giving as much information as they can on Villains Land because she thinks that's what people are excited about versus the Piston Peak area.
Nope.
So we'll get new concept art and information on the second attraction. She didn't even say what the first attraction is. I guess everyone's just assuming we know it's going to be a coaster from the first concept art, but they haven't even officially said that. She says we'll get information on what the themed dining will be and maybe an official name for the land. I would be surprised if we get all that.
We get nothing for Villains. Whenever we get Villain stuff, it might be next year at D23 in Anaheim. We might get like another piece of concept art.
That's what I'm thinking we will, like just like kind of like how they did the second concept art for Piston Peak. Now we might get a second concept art for Villains Land, just to remind everyone that it's still coming type thing.
Yeah, I would more liken it to not like the Piston Peak stuff, but how we had the OG Monsters Land thing, and then we had the next one where it got pushed back a little bit.
Right.
Like, I think we'll get some new shading of what we already know, but I don't think we get any details, like naming restaurants. And like, no, I don't think that's happening at all.
And then she said for Piston Peak, they'll probably just remind us about what they've already been doing and leaning into the whole like natural elements, natural park and stuff like that. And won't talk much about the rally race because she thinks people aren't actually interested in that unless they have something very new and exciting. But if it's just kind of like more of the same, they'll like kind of gloss over that. And does predict, though, that we will find out news on the second attraction.
I mean, we might get, I don't think we'll get news about the second attraction, but we might get like more art that's showing the second attraction kind of like in the background a little bit so people can like study art and kind of take from that what they will. I think we'll get new artwork, or they'll lean heavily into the cartoonish,
the one that's been out
that we did, right? So
that seemed to get a fairly positive response.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance they might talk about the rally race some more. I think people are excited about that, and I just don't get where she thinks that nobody cares about that. It's just nobody cares because no one knows anything. Like, it's a rally race, and no one knows what the ride vehicles are going to look like. You know, it's all been concept art. I don't think we'll get any level of detail about Piston Peak just yet. I think we'll get a lot more detail next year at D23. But this is still like 3 years off at this point, so I don't think we're going to get anything kind of. I think we're not in blue sky phase whatsoever, but like we're still kind of in a space where things could change a decent amount, like, you know, but maybe half of it's kind of locked in from, that's the wrong terminology. People would yell at me for that, but I don't think we're getting any massive details, but I think we'll get more concept art and they'll lean into architecture and they'll talk about like the scenery and the walking paths and the beauty of the area. They're definitely going to lean heavily into like how it's not going to be like a crater in the middle of Magic Kingdom, right? They're going to be like heavy emphasis on everything's going to be gorgeous and beautiful and nature, all that stuff. Yes, water everywhere. But yeah, I don't think we'll get anything crazy detailed yet.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago that we got this new concept art and they didn't have the second attraction in there. So I can't imagine all of a sudden now they have all this amazing tons of detail for it that they didn't have at that time and stuff. So yeah, I agree with you. There's at least 2 lands that are coming before this one. So that's where the focus is going to be.
Yep.
She also mentioned the Beacon Barrel. We'll get an opening date for that if we don't get it before the event. Again,
I could see that.
I could see that, or at least the opening month or something like that.
We'll definitely get. I think we'll definitely get more details because they just put out that really cool video.
Yeah.
Again, it looked kind of still construction-y in there, but we don't know.
You never know exactly when they took it. Yeah, exactly.
That could have been from like a month ago. I think we'll get more details for it for sure. Even if we don't get an opening date, we'll get like more pictures and more like, whatever. We're not going to get like menus per se, but we'll get a lot more information about it, I think.
Yep. And then also more details and updates on the Buzz Lightyear update and stuff like that.
We might, I think, but I don't think that's going to be really emphasized much in this. I mean,
yep.
they might play some of the stuff that we've already seen,
yeah.
like just replicate the videos that we've seen, but I don't think there's going to be anything new.
Yep.
About this ride.
Yep, I agree. She did mention about the whole new resort area thing that we discussed a few shows ago, where Lem brought that up, the new area that's kind of near Blizzard Beach, and that could be a new hub for the Skyliner and stuff like that. But she thinks it's too early to have for them to announce it. There's zero. If that happens, it's so far away. There's no way that.
Yeah, there's no permitting. There's no nothing. Like we would get so many other things. Like people would have like notices of like land surveyors and all this other stuff going on before. Like there's zero way that this is ever announced at all. But the next point is definitely
the next one. I definitely think will happen. She's fully confident of this, and I agree with that. That we will get a lot more about Lakeshore Lodge. We really have nothing as far as like artist renderings of what it's going to be, unless it's the exact same as when it was Reflections. But is it find out, is it the same? What restaurants are going to be there? What's the pool going to look like? I think we're going to get a lot more information about what the final product of Lakeshore Lodge is, because obviously that's a big crowd that's probably interested in buying DVC points, and they will want to share and get people excited for it.
Now, DVC does things differently, right? Like we say we're totally confident, and I agree with that, but there is a chance that they won't do anything with this because they don't want to step on the DVC sales of the Poly Tower, right? Because like DVC doesn't like even acknowledge the existence of a brand new hotel opening until it's ready, right? So it's the only reason why I could see that this Lakeshore Lodge won't even get mentioned whatsoever, because the DVC people are like, no, mention the new Poly Tower, talk about the reviews of the hamburgers in there or something, push those sales. Don't make people who are thinking about buying DVC, make them wait even longer before they invest. Like make them buy the Poly stuff, right? So I mean, now I might be talking to myself, so they won't even mention it at all. That's what I'm going with. But
well, I guess I think it's either way. We're either getting a ton of details or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. No in between. In between.
And that was about it. So I think she was a little bit optimistic about some of the things. I would be amazed as I will be in the crowd there. So if we do get all that, I will be very excited. But
you'll be live tweeting.
Yeah, I will be live tweeting, and I will say you were wrong, Jason. We did get all this information.
That's right. That's fine. I'll take, because you know what? If I'm wrong with all this stuff, that's an amazing Destination D23,
exactly.
And you're going to have the time of your life seeing all this stuff, right? So I hope all this is true, so you can have an awesome trip. But Destination D23 is not a place for new announcements or new major announcements.
Right.
It's usually about like what's coming, more details, get people pumped for what is on the docket. I don't know. We have the DBC engagement for like Spaceship Earth. Like they might even talk about like what stuff they're fixing, or maybe there's a preview of what they're changing. I don't.
Yeah, she didn't mention anything about that. That's true, because that's going to be closed by the time we're there, so they might actually share a little bit more about that. That's
show you the screen or something, the new fancy. Oh, I don't know. Who knows? But is there anything else that's not on the list that you think they're going to mention? But I think that's basically it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there'll probably be some like random thing that we didn't know of or anything. Like I said, the last time they propped up the like Figment meet and greet or something, there'll be something like that nobody's thinking of. But I can't think of anything big.
No, they might do like some really cool behind the scenes. Like they might have like a movie for you guys to watch for like behind the scenes for like the new parade or something else like that. So stuff that's like, it's just been out, everybody's seen it, but here's some really cool, fun information about how we, you know.
Yeah, I could even
or
see that
whatever.
being a panel or something like
Yeah,
that they have there
exactly.
with like the live entertainment people that are there that to help create the parade
Mhm.
and there for taking questions and stuff for sure.
Yep. So I can't wait for Destination D23. Should be fun. And for the sake of time, we're going to go right into our planner, filler, skipper attractions at Hollywood Studios. Phil, you've always done a wonderful job steering these things. I'm going to open up the sheet, and we've got Hollywood Studios open. So I'll
Yep.
let you steer the boat on this
Once
one.
again, I have this organized by how it's listed in Wikipedia and by segment of the park. So on Hollywood Boulevard, there really is just Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Is that something that you and your family plan for, or just kind of fill in the gaps with? Or I assume you don't skip it. So.
No, I mean, this is one of my favorite rides. I absolutely love the song on this one. It's like it grows on me every single time. I have to go on this ride every single time I go to the park if it's open. When we went, the sound was off for half the ride, which is disappointing. And when I was there 2 weeks ago, it was actually down because of weather for whatever reason. But I wouldn't say this is like a planner, right? Like
Okay.
even though when I say that, like I always have to go on this ride, we don't like plan our day around going for it. We usually can get a lightning lane for it. We can wait online. Is that technically a filler? If it's just like it's like borderline,
It's
right?
kind of in between there because we're kind of the same way that we definitely plan to ride it, but it's not like the first thing we get a lightning lane for or something like that.
Mhm.
It's kind of like when it's available, when it fits into our schedule or something like that. So it's probably in between a planner and a filler, but it does probably fill the gaps because it's not one that usually doesn't have that long a wait, or if you have lightning
Yeah.
lanes, it's a relatively easy one to get. So it's probably a filler actually. Not the more that I think about it, but filler usually means that you do it, if not every trip, most trips.
Yeah, a
Like
filler is you do it to fill in the gaps between the other things that you have to plan for because of crowds and availability.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Yep. So Echo Lake, there are 3 things there. The first thing is Star Tours, The Adventures Continue.
I know this is a skipper for a lot of people, but this is definitely a filler. It's always like a 5 or 10 minute wait.
It's the same thing for us.
I love
it's
it.
always like, oh, we got a little bit of time. Oh, Star Tours. Like, let's do Star Tours. It's always like
Yeah.
a 5-minute wait, but it's always enjoyable, and we do it pretty much every trip. So I think it's a filler as well. Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
I think this is a skipper for me. Like, I've only done it once in like the last 4 trips, and I want to do it more often, but like the showings never align with when I'm ready to do it. So it's kind of a skipper for me, and I don't feel bad for skipping it either. I plan on doing it when we go down next week, but yeah, I think it's a skipper.
I think it's kind of one of those too, also because there's only so many shows you like if you want to see it, you do kind of have to plan around it.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
then more often than not, it's like, oh, it doesn't work out, and we're going to skip it. So I think it's a skipper. For the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration.
I love this show because I love the cast members that are on stage. They make it so enjoyable for me. It's definitely a filler. Like I will hop in here,
and I feel like there's like more showings of that than like the Indiana Jones, so it's easier to kind of fit it in somewhere. Yeah,
absolutely.
So then we have Galaxy's Edge. There's Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, and Rise of the Resistance. Are those both planners for you, or?
So this is weird because Millennium Falcon, it's like either like it was a filler for me when my daughter and I went there because our whole family's not on it, and like I said last week, it's just awkward going on there when you were filling in for another family of 4, right? That was awkward. But when it's our whole family in there, this is a planner. This is one of my favorite attractions. Like going into like Lightspeed just feels like just such a childhood like desire in me that I love it. And as far as Rise, like I've been on it a bunch of times. I'm not spending money on it. I'm not taking advantage of the single rider line when it's available. To me, it's a filler attraction because if the wait time is under 30 minutes, I'm definitely getting on. If it's 50 minutes or later, I am not getting on. And I'm hardly ever rope dropping this attraction either.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you that it's not something we have to do every trip now that we've done it a number of times. Like obviously the first time we went down when it just opened, it was a must do and everything. Yeah. But now that we've done it a number of times, I enjoy doing it. But yeah, I'm the same way. If it never gets under 90 minutes or something like that, and we'll skip it more often than not because since we've done it enough, we're not going to pay for the lightning lane most of the time. So no, I think that makes sense. Toy Story Land, there's Toy Story Mania.
That's a filler for me. Like if the line is low, I'll go on it. But to me that's a borderline filler skipper, right? Like if it's available, I'm getting on it. If for whatever reason it's an hour long, I'm skipping it. So I don't know how we want to categorize
For me,
that.
it's a definite filler. We do it pretty much every trip, and you can usually get, if you have lightning lanes, and it's relatively
It's
easy one to
relatively
get
easy.
at
It's
some
true.
point and
Yep.
stuff like that. So I think it's a good filler. Slinky Dog Dash, I think that's
To me, it's a planner. Like I just love this roller
Yeah.
coaster. I mean, it just feels good being on it. It's smooth. It's got good up and downs. It's not like the usually you got to struggle to get a lightning lane for it. But like I'll also wait like 45 minutes to go
Yeah.
on this attraction because it's just enjoyable.
it's just fun, and it's one of my youngest daughters, especially. It's like she loves
True.
it and stuff like
Yep.
that. So I think it's something we almost always try to fit in. So we'll plan it around it.
Mhm.
Alien swirling saucers, that's a skipper for me.
Oh, it's easily a skipper. I mean, if this was like a 5 or 10 minute wait, like teacups,
Yeah.
or even 20-minute wait, like this would be a filler. But it's always way too long.
It's way too
not
long,
worth
and
the
it's
wait.
like the way it loads and stuff like that. Like you move in, it's not constantly moving lines, so it feels longer than it is. And like
I've only been on this ride once in my life, and it was the only time I ever needed to go on because the wait for it was just so long, and it's just like I just never want to be on this line
Yeah.
ever again.
If it had a constant like 5 minute wait, it would be a great filler, but it doesn't.
Yep.
It doesn't. So, Animation Courtyard, Disney Junior Play and Dance. I guess we're probably the wrong audience for this since our kids are older.
When I was going down pre-COVID, when I had so let's see, the first time we went in 2017, I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time, or 5-year was it 4-year-old at the time. This was a planner. My kids loved this. This was a great experience. But as my kids aged out of it, it's a skipper at that point. But
Yep.
like if you have kids under the age of 6, this has to be a must do for you, assuming that they recognize all the characters that are on there. And now it's just not just Disney Junior characters. It's you got Pumbaa and everybody else on there. So for me, it's a skipper unless you have young kids, toddlers.
Star Wars Launch Bay. I'm going to assume that's a skipper at this point.
Yeah, I haven't been on it since before Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Like I have no
Yeah.
desire to go back there and do the meet and greets and stuff like that. My kids aren't huge Star Wars fans, or like meeting like Chewbacca. Is Chewbacca still meeting back there?
Yeah, I think
can't
it's
remember.
Chewbacca and Darth Vader.
Yeah, I mean, like I would do Darth Vader if we had extra time. Maybe we'll do that because I completely forgot that this is back there. But yeah, it's a skipper for me.
Yep. This one we have it just reopened, so it's hard for us to judge this. But The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. Do you think for your trip coming up, it's going to be a must do or a filler or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a must do. It's new. I want to check it out, right? Like I'm looking forward to it. My daughters, or my oldest daughter, at very least, loves Ariel and all her music, so it's a planner. If the showings stay consistent like they are now, it's definitely a filler after the fact too.
Yep.
I think from what I've seen, the show looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's a nice way to kind of get like 20 minutes of like air conditioning type of thing.
Yep. And then the last one for this section is Walt Disney Presents.
Unfortunately, this is like a skipper for me. Like I walk past this all the time. I'm like, I want to go in there when we have time, and then I never have time, and I never go back. But I'd love for this to be a filler, but I don't think all my other family would like just walk past it. And
Yeah.
I want to go in there. Like, no, we don't want to go in there. I'm like, all right. So maybe this is when I like my kids go. Everybody goes to swimming. Like, I'll be back in 40 minutes, and I just take this guy.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
And come back, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good idea because I think it's one. It's kind of in between a filler and a skipper for me because I don't do it every trip, so it's hard for me to say it's a filler, but I do try to get there occasionally, and I always enjoy it when I'm there, and the movie always makes me cry and stuff like that. So it's kind of in between, but at the same time, we were just down as 4 big Disney fans and we didn't do it, so it's like it's hard to not say it's a skipper. So then we have last area, Sunset Boulevard, Twilight Zone, Tower of Terror.
I mean, this is a planner. That's right. It's one of everybody's favorite rides in that park, right?
Yeah, it's kind of less for us just because my kids don't like it, so we don't do it very often. But I enjoy it, and I think you do have to kind of plan around. Usually, sometimes you'll find it with a low weight, but you kind of have to plan around with it, and it's not the easiest lightning lane to get and stuff like that. So,
well, when we were down there 2 weeks ago, and me and my daughter went on it. My daughter had only been on it once prior to this, and she was excited to go on. And she's like, we have extra anytime lightning lanes now. You want to go again? And she's like, let's go see some other stuff because it was like quick, it's fast, and it's like not engaging. But I love the music. I love the queue.
I love it. It's just hard when with my kids that I had them each go on once. It was kind of almost like a rite of passage type thing as they got old enough or tall enough. And then they were all like, that's it. Once was enough. Then the last time when I had my 2 youngest with me, I talked them into doing it again because we hadn't done it in years. And then afterwards, they're like, don't need to do it again. Like that. So
Well,
it's not for them. Like they don't
Yes.
like spooky things. So
Okay, my youngest loves spooky things, and
Yeah.
she was terrified to get on, so she skipped it last time. But now I'm like, you have to go on. She's like, I know, I can't wait. I'm like, okay, so
All right.
we'll see that when we get there. And speaking of rite of passage, that's Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Next
Yep.
on your list. And so my daughter went on when she was finally tall enough to go on. She was not as scared as everybody else, but she was definitely nervous, and she loved it. And then I remember bringing my son on when he was tall enough to go on, and he was basically crying and terrified. Like I was almost embarrassed by how I treated him. Like, shush, you're going on. Let's go. I'm dragging you on. And of course, immediately he gets off. It's like, this is the most amazing thing in the world. And he immediately went on with my wife again for the second time in a row. So my youngest, who loves roller coasters, but absolutely hates roller coasters at the same time because she gets so scared, but she's ready to go. And I'm like, well, you're going on. And she's going to start. We'll see how tough she is because she hasn't, it's been 2 years, right? Since or a year and a half. So we'll see. But yeah, as far as the game is concerned, right? That's what we're here for. Rock and Roller Coaster is definitely a planner for us right now.
It is for us. My son doesn't like it, so he skips it, but the rest of us plan for it for sure. Beauty and the Beast live on stage. For us, this is a skip.
Totally a skip. If you ask my wife, she might say filler on this one because she loves stage productions, but it's definitely a skipper. We haven't been on it since like 2017, so we've definitely skipped it plenty of times already.
Exactly.
Now, if you ask my wife, she would probably label Hollywood Studios as a skippable park in her point of view overall, right? If she had her druthers. This is her least favorite park, so like everything also was a skipper in there. So the next one, Phantasmic. I think all nighttime spectaculars are planners, right? Like if you're always planning on being there at the end of the night to watch this show. So I don't think there's anything crazy about that with Phantasmic. It's definitely a planner.
Yep.
That's easy.
And then I realized Wikipedia didn't include this, I guess, because it wasn't open or something, but Villains Unfairly Ever After, it's open now. Is this kind of the same as Little Mermaid for you? Like it's definitely a planner while it's new, but most likely filler after, or...
I think this is going to be planner for sure, going because it's new, but I think it's going to be a skipper once I've seen it once. I think this is kind of like a one and done type of thing.
Yeah.
From what I've seen on social media, I could totally change my mind. And this is me totally prejudging this stuff, but it doesn't look really exciting to me, but I want to check it out because the screens look awesome. The stagecraft looks awesome, but it's like three actors kind of singing their songs and you just kind of rotate and kind of go on. Just like Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy in this building. It was a one and done type of thing. I think I only went on it once.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
I think so. I mean, I've always been a little like less into this. The whole like villains aren't really bad. They're just misjudged. Is like
stop whining, right?
Yeah, it's like not really my thing. I think it's kind of played out. And I do want to see it once. You know, I think when we go down in November, I want to see it just to see for the stage setup and the screens and stuff like that. It looks technically it looks cool. And I have seen some positive reviews. Some people have really liked it, but I suspect I'm going to be the same. That it's like, okay, we saw it, and we don't probably need to see it again. So.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the crashing and burning of Snow White with the way they had the evil queen constantly whining and doing songs and dances for like, oh, it's not fair. Snow White is prettier than me. Like, keep villains evil, keep villains somewhat scary, and like whatever. We don't need to know everything about the villains and what they're thinking. They need to be kind of over there being scary.
I certainly hope that's what they're going to stick to with Villains Land. I don't need a whole land of people with villains whining and stuff about
exactly. Exactly. The only whining villain that works is Captain Hook because you kind of try to feel bad for him in the movies because he got his hand bitten off. He's constantly getting beat, but you also don't like him either, right? Like you don't want to be sympathetic to the villains. Like that's just stop, please.
But it's not like Captain Hook ever like learns his lesson and is now like not evil. Like he's still always evil at the end. He's always trying to kill kids.
Did you see the new Peter Pan movie from like 3-4 years ago? Like he becomes a sympathetic character on that. I actually like that kind of take on Peter Pan, to be honest, but that was just kind of something weird and different. But like, no, generally you're absolutely right. I don't need to feel good or bad for villains. Like, no, you're bad guys. Let's keep it simple. It's a fairy tale. The bad guys are bad guys.
Yeah. So we'll see. So, all right, we got through that one.
Whew. All right, what's next on our list of things to do? We got our DBC engagement for the week, and then we can wrap up the show. 2 weeks ago, we asked you with a small update coming to Spaceship Earth. What would you make changes to Spaceship Earth? Again, this was all because you had like 3-4 months to make some simple changes. So it's not like you can change a scene or retrack it or whatever. It's just small updates to kind of fix things up. So, Phil, do you want to go with ours first and then the community? How do you want to run it?
Yeah, and just to like give an example of this, it kind of got prompted by someone on our Discord suggested that the newspaper boy who's been broken for a while, that he's like facing the wrong way. He'd like to see that fixed, and the newspaper boy is actually facing us and moving his arm and is fixed and stuff like that. So that's the type of scale we were looking for. So I don't know, maybe we'll do the community and then we could fill in if we have different ideas beyond what they have. So Doxy said she would like to see them add more things from the 21st century, like how we're so dependent on phones and tablets and how space flight has changed, that kind of stuff. I don't know how much they could fit that in, but that ties into a little bit of what my thought would be for one of the last scenes, where you could add a little bit to that. But I think if they could tweak that and have a little bit more modern, because it feels like it ends in like the 90s or something like that, it would be nice.
I mean, they could. I mean, they kind of did that with Carousel of Progress, where they like slowly tweaked it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this would be kind of tough. I don't know, like a 3 or 4 month kind of change, but like I get the vibe. I think they definitely could have probably add some stuff.
Yeah. So the next couple I think are similar. Janelle said, I would like to have the whole thing when you're on the descent where it says, now let's have a little fun, where you pick the things. She'd like to have that whole thing redone, which maybe that will be. We know they're going to be changing out the screens and stuff. So they might be changing out, not radically changing the descent, but the actual specifics of what you're doing on the screens could be updated.
Yep.
Mama Six said something similar. I would like them to change the entire scenes, but she would like to see them put some physical sets and stuff in there like they used to have in prior versions. I don't know. You know, she wants to see what the future of robotics and AI and space travel is while you're descending down. That would be nice. That feels like more than
that's a long
we have time for. Yeah.
Yep. It's a good idea. It's just I don't think they could do that in a 3 or 4 month cycle.
Yeah. Wheezy said he'd like a scene when you're unloading or right before the unloading that has a small animatronic child in school learning alphabet and saying thank you to the Phoenicians as a callback to the ride.
That'd be good.
TL Madden says, not sure if this is a little thing, but the screen show at the end, again, the whole, like, as pointed out, but he'd like some way that it could incorporate your magic bands or magic bands plus, that you can kind of tap your magic band and maybe it saves your settings or something like that, or you can use the Disney Play app on your phone. I don't know if they could figure all that out. That might be too much, but yeah, somehow to incorporate magic bands would be kind of interesting if they were able to do that. And then Lumpy says if they're Lumpy wasn't sure, he thought they were going back to the whole, like a whole big redo thing, saying if they're sticking with the communication theme or if they're going to go something different. And he was going into like who should be the new narrator and stuff like that, which I think the whole point was they're not going to be doing anything of that scale. It's just going to be about just small updates and stuff like that.
So my change, I don't know if they could do this because I can't think of like how some of the show scenes could have changed, but I'd like to see if they could somehow edit the different narrations and like you get a random narration from previous recordings. I think they could pull that off. I think, but it'd be cool if like one time you get Walter Cronkite, another time, Judi Dench or something else like that. It kind of gives it some rideability. Like, see, how many times can I get it in one day? Like,
that would be neat. But I think all the scenes are different though. So
So I think it requires some editing and some creative type of stuff. But like maybe the mix and match. I don't know. Like it requires some work, but it wouldn't require any physical changes. So it would just be like audio editing and stuff like that. I think it'd be cool if they can. Somehow incorporate.
It's a good idea. I don't know if they could do that now, but when the next time it does a big refurb, if they had multiple narrators, that would be kind of an interesting take.
Maybe I don't know. I couldn't think of anything like that would require like just really quick changes. So
yeah. So my thing is mostly that it kind of ties into a little bit about what Doxy said, but it's that last scene right before you get to the very top and you see the Earth, where you go through the garage and it's like young people with a passion for shaping the future put the power of the computer in everyone's hand, and it's just this like very static figure that doesn't move at all, staring at a computer that has like 3 lines of text on it or something like that. Is like, that doesn't look very exciting. Like, I don't know. I don't need the whole thing redone, but if it was a little bit updated, at least make the figure move a little bit or jokingly falling asleep and you could tell he's asleep or something, or or as like Doxy said, maybe add to it that then he pulls out a tablet, or there's this half extra scene or something like that. I don't know, something to like jazz up that. It just, there's so much so many animated figures throughout the ride that it feels like it kind of ends on a bit of a down note.
Well, I mean, that's why they've been threatening to kind of take this down and do a full blown like redo, like test track on this. So maybe all these ideas are coming. It's just they're waiting for maybe a year or two before they put more walls up at the entrance of Epcot. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Those are all good ideas. I think this is an iconic ride that I hope they change it, but change it for the better, but keeping the same kind of vibe throughout, right? Like you don't toss everything out, but you kind of update it a little bit. That'd be interesting to see how if they change the whole track in there, because they got to take that track out at some point. Like, can you rescue some of these scenes and kind of rebuild the track to do it? Would it be like a Big Thunder Mountain retrack, or do you think whenever they do work on the track, that it'll be a completely different configuration? What do you think they're going to do, Phil, if you have to predict now?
If I had to predict, it's going to be like Big Thunder, where it's a completely new track, but the same layout.
Same layout. I think that'd be the easiest thing for them to do, because otherwise it's just a brand new ride at that point.
Yeah,
right?
I think that'd have to be so much. It would cost too much to like take everything out and redo everything.
All right, so your DBC engagement for this week is your idea, so why don't you announce it?
Okay, so with the Walt animatronic, there's been a lot of talk about like if the family really wants an animatronic, or is it creepy to sort of like bring back somebody from the dead. So now you get to make the decision, and said, would you want to see an animatronic of one of your relatives? And if so, who?
Ooh, this is kind of creepy. Like, I'll give my answer right now. It's like, it has to be at least a generation of space. Like, I don't think I could ever do that with like my parents or something else like that. That'd just be a little bit too much. So,
well, I think it's interesting. Like, would anybody want like an animatronic of like somebody that's still alive? And like, would you want to see that? I personally wouldn't. For me, it has to be somebody like Walt's been dead for 60 years or whatever. I think that's kind of like how it has to be.
There needs to be time.
Yeah.
Now, as part of this question, Phil, is this like it's just sitting in your house? Or is it like in a theme park somewhere where everybody can see it? Like, where is this animatronic?
I would say somewhere like on display or something like that.
Okay,
not just in your closet or something. Like that.
It's like in your
attic, and like you sell the house, and somebody like the new owners like find it.
What is this in my attic? Oh my goodness, my house is haunted. Okay, so that's for next week. Next week we're going to be off. We'll have a supplemental show about the Skipper Planner updates a game for Magic Kingdom. But that being said, we will see you in 2 weeks, where I will not. Phil will, with some guests, and they're going to be a new show. I won't be back until my trip report for 3 shows from now. So I will not be recording for 2 full weeks. But that being said, thank you for watching and listening, friends, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.